Today we've got lots of big news. A cruise line is going to have higher deposits, require final payments to be made sooner, which I think is a trend we are going to see in cruising. Also, we've got to talk a little bit more about cruises in Israel that are being rearranged, as well as what we're looking forward probably in the future in that region. Just some things to think about if you're thinking of traveling there. We've got Azamara announcing a bunch of amazing voyages, so I want to make sure that you're aware of those. News coming in from Sitka, which will impact Alaska cruises. Just lots to talk about today. And so let's go ahead and get started. Hi there, this is Allison with Let's Go Travel Tips. Today is Thursday. It is October 12th of 2023, and I want to invite you first to please subscribe if you haven't already, as well as give us a thumbs up if you appreciate our updates. So first of all, the really big news that I am not surprised at all and we've got to talk about is the move that Royal Caribbean just announced, their cruise line, that they are going to immediately, so if you've already got a cruise booked, it doesn't apply to you, but if you book a cruise that is 15 days or longer, you are going to have to make your final payment rather than 90 days out. You're going to have to make it 120 days out, which is basically changing that requirement from 3 months out to 4 months out, and you're going to have a higher per person deposit when you book that in the first place. And a lot of Royal Caribbean's very best cruise fares are non-refundable, so you have to choose what it is that you want and decide how much you want to pay for the luxury of being able to cancel. So make sure that you keep an eye on that as you're making your bookings. But this whole deal of why they are requiring final payments sooner, a whole month sooner, and why they would make deposits higher is something I think we need to talk about here together for a few minutes, and I would really like to hear your opinion on it as well. A lot of times those cruises that are 15 days or longer end up being clearly the itineraries that cost more, that are usually, as a general rule, you travel further away, whether they're a repositioning, whether it's just a longer cruise in another place, and they also usually cost a lot more. Well, when you think of those cruises, a lot of people, when they see itineraries come out, they think, well, I might want to go. Let me snap up a cabin on that cruise, and then I've got a long time to think about it. I can decide clear up until 3 months out if I want to go or not. And of course, you have the luxury as well as if something unexpected comes up. But a lot of times people just think, I'll grab that cruise and I'll grab that cruise and I'll pick one of them. And I know this because I receive a lot of emails and I read a lot of Facebook things and just everywhere. So, and I admit that sometimes we look at cruises. I don't really do that, but we do look at several cruises and then we try to decide what we're going to do. I don't think that I have done that before, of just booking a few cruises figuring I would keep one. But it depends on how much you cruise, and there's people who cruise a lot more than we do. But here's what I want to think about and why they're probably doing this, and why I think we're going to see more cruise lines doing this as well. First of all, when you do that, it makes all these other people who really know that they can go or would for sure go, they're not able to book a cabin because the ship is sold out, or they're not able to get a cabin in the category that they want. And a good example of this are the cruises that I was telling you about just last week when we were looking at some of the cruises that Princess has got available. You look at a bunch of those Australia, New Zealand ones in 2025, and they are already booked. Now, when it comes to final payment date, I know that there are going to be cancellations and people are going to be able to pick up that cruise at that time. It'll be interesting to see how much you can actually grab at that point, but there is always wiggle room around the final payment date because people cancel. It depends on how long they let those wait lists get and everything to do with that, but it's historically a good time to pick up a cruise that you think is already sold out. Really keep an eye on that final payment date. The other thing is that when they increase the deposit, you've got a little bit more skin in the game. Those $1 deposit sales that Princess and some of the other cruise lines, I am most familiar with Princess doing it in a way that drives me crazy, because you don't really have to really invest yourself in that cruise at all. You can pick up several and then you just go on the one that you choose. And so it's just kind of a way of marketing and a way of thinking about it. So let me know if having that 120-day payment window rather than the 90-day and a little bit more of a deposit, will that change how you think of booking cruises? Will that make you not so likely to book a cruise that you're not sure you want to take? Just tell me how that will affect how you do booking your cruises going forward. All right. Truly, I am not surprised that they have done that, and I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see that a little bit more. There are some cruise lines, like a lot of things with Viking, they're due a year out or 6 months out or 9 months out. Theirs are due much further out, and as a result they have way fewer cancellations because people commit to it and off they go. So I wanted to let you know about that big change because it's a really big change to me. The next thing we need to talk about here for just a minute is Sitka. Sitka, Alaska. There was a resident there who put forth a petition and got quite a few people to sign it and put it forth to the city to limit the number of cruise passengers that would come there every year. It turns out for 2023 they had just over 500,000 visitors come through Sitka. This year actually we went to Sitka on Holland America. We thoroughly enjoyed it. That's the town that we did that ribbit ride that took us out, and we got to see all the little otters. We had a really nice time, and then when we got back we took the shuttle over to the city and walked around and saw the shops and their area there and their kind of museum and historical. They have a building there with a bunch of information. We enjoyed that as well. So there's a lot to do in Sitka. There's quite a variety of excursions, but the bottom line is the city council and the city attorney ended up turning down that petition, which didn't quite have as many. From what I can read in the news stories, like they had 40 signatures, but the things that they were asking for are not things that the city, it sounded like from my layman's reading of it, it didn't sound like the city attorney or the city had the power to make the changes that this person wanted made to limit the number of cruise passengers. So for now, they are not going to limit that. It was really interesting when we were there this summer. I asked our tour guide, she was really nice. She took us, we put on the special outerwear that you have to wear when you do a rib boat tour in the water there, and I asked her if they enjoy all the tourists coming, and she said they love it. She said it's a great boon to the people that live there financially. It's just for a small window of the year, and the rest of the year they have some tourists of course come, but that they didn't, for what it was worth, she didn't think it was a bad thing at all. So that's just one person, but I was happy. She's lived there her whole life, so I just like to see what people think about things. So that's one thing. Another thing, let's talk for just a minute. We need to talk about Barcelona, and I also want to talk to you about Israel. We still have that ongoing situation there where a bunch of cruise lines are rearranging their itineraries. So the Rhapsody of the Seas that we have spoken about, they canceled another cruise, the one that is set to go on October 18th. Royal Caribbean went and canceled that one, and there are two more. So October 27th and October 23rd and October 27th, there are cruises that are supposed to leave from there, and then that ship is going to be heading from Haifa over to Barcelona, and from Barcelona on over to Fort Lauderdale for the repositioning. So they did cancel another one, and I am sure that with the way things are going, that the cruise lines are just keeping an eye on everything that's going on, and then they will make the decision on what to cancel next. Like I told you yesterday, Princess has already made the changes to their itineraries that we're planning to go to Israel at the end of October and into November. There's only a couple of those every year, so that change has been made. I noticed that MSC, they have changed a bunch of their itineraries. The MSC Musica and the MSC Symphonia were due to call in Israel as well. They actually had to move. They had 800 Israeli passengers on board from the cruise that originated there in Haifa, and they actually got another cruise ship that was actually smaller with a different cruise line. It's not what I'm quite as familiar with, but it's called Mano, M-A-N-O cruises. They took their ship, the Crown Iris, and got the 800 passengers on who are actually from Israel to take them back. Now, to me, that's kind of the thing that, we don't know the ins and outs of everything that's going on there. And so that clearly was their best way to return these people home again, so that they could get them back to their families and everything. Now, I did notice that Azamara has not canceled all of their cruises that are calling in that region. And even over on our Facebook group, someone commented and said that they are due to go on a cruise at the end of October, and that Azamara is still planning to call in Jordan and in another port, Egypt, that is right close to Israel there. And so they called and asked if they could have a future cruise credit because they didn't feel comfortable going. And they reported on our Facebook group that Azamara said, nope, you don't. And they said, well, Celebrity, is offering the future cruise credit if you don't feel comfortable. And they apparently said they're not Celebrity. But you want to know what I think? For whatever it's worth, I know it's really not that what I think doesn't really carry any weight, but I would say really keep a close eye on those itineraries. I am wondering if it gets closer and closer to the time to go and things have not resolved in Israel, if the cruise lines that are still planning to go there will reconsider that. Of course, I don't know, but I would sure keep a close eye on it and see what they deem as safe. I do know that these cruise lines, they want to keep the safe ship. They want to keep their crew safe. They want to keep their passengers safe. And so I think that they will really look very carefully at the whole situation for what that's worth. Now, the last thing that I wanted to talk to you about today is Barcelona. So Barcelona, they recently, and then I'm going to update you just really quick about our sea day here on the Island Princess. So Barcelona, you will remember, and I mentioned it again just the other day, but Barcelona, they ended up making it so that instead of having 10 cruise ships come a day, they're going to only have 7. And so that makes it so they are not going to have cruise ships call at the 2 ports that are closest to the city center there in Barcelona. And it's called the World Trade Center and the Muela, Barcelona, Norte, the northern 2 piers there, and they aren't going to have cruise ship stock there anymore. From what I can tell, looking on the map, it looks like Holland America, Celebrity, Princess, Royal Caribbean, the cruise ships that we think of most sailing on from the United States there, passengers from the United States. Those ships don't necessarily sail from the United States, but what we think of most, those should not be impacted. Now, that's just my guess based on what I can see where they're supposed to go. So don't get upset with me if you end up at a different pier than you anticipated, but it sounds like from everything that I can find that they are planning to have a shuttle service going for cruise passengers to be able to get from the pier wherever it is that they're docked into the city center and back out again. It's supposed to be about a half an hour ride, and whenever I have been in Barcelona, there is always a lot of taxis right there by the ship when you disembark, as well as in the center of town. I've never had a hard time getting a taxi there ever in all the times that we've been there. So whether or not you end up a little bit closer to the city or a little bit further down a little bit, it'll be okay. You'll still be able to get in there and see everything that you want to see and get back out again. All right, I wanted to make sure we're clear on that. So if you've got any other questions, let me know. I almost forgot to tell you about Azamara's big announcement. Now, Azamara is known for people who are in the cruise industry. Azamara likes to be known as a hotel at sea. That's what I have heard from their reps. That's what I've read in their materials, because they have such long times in port. They have a good experience on the ship, but they are known that when you go on their cruises, you go to see places. They are destination experts, as it were. They really have a lot of time in every port. And so the fact that Azamara is just announcing their new grand voyages, I think is a huge deal. And why would I be telling you all about it? It's because If you have been looking for another cruise line to try because you're not nuts about any of the changes that Princess has made, whether you think you would like a little bit better food or anything else, I think Azamara is a really good option for you. All right, I'm going to get on Azamara sooner. Hopefully this next year I'm going to be able to, Gordon and I'll have time to do that because I want to try it. But everything that I hear from anyone that goes on it is excellent. All right, and I like that their price point is not it's not as high as Oceania. I think it's really actually good for what it is. So let me tell you really quick so that you can think about the different itineraries that you might like to think about. But they have a 37-night, and these are for 2024 and 2025. So they've got a 37-night sailing that goes from South Africa to Portugal. They've got a 41-night Japan to Greece grand voyage. Here, I'll tell you the days, so those go real quick. So that 37-night South Africa to Portugal, it goes on February 8th of 2024. That's the Sun Princess's inaugural day that we're going to be there. The 41-night Japan to Greece goes on April 18th of 2024. A 35-night Europe grand voyage on board, it'll be on the Azamara Quest. It's going to go on May 18th. They've got a 46-night Denmark to Spain that's going to go on August 11th of 2024. 59-night Norway to Italy, that's going to go on August 12th of 2024. 62 nights, you guys, Venice to Cape Town. Let me do that again. They've got a 62 nights, you guys, that's going to go from Venice to Cape Town. That's going to go on October 19th of 2024. 70 night Greece to Australia is going to go on October 26th, 2024. A 62-night New Zealand to Japan that's going to go February 3rd of 2025. 69 nights Japan to Greece again on April 6th of 2025. 61 nights South Africa to Italy on February 9th of 2025. And the last one, 39-night Canada to the UK on August 5th of 2025. So this truly opens up a whole world. You've either got to have an awful lot of vacation time or be retired so that you can go on this, voyages that are this long, but those are going to be extraordinary voyages. And when you think of the length of these, I know that some of them are like half of how much a world cruise would be, or a third of how much a world cruise would be, or you know what I mean. But I would put these up against a world cruise. Going on Azamara and going to these destinations, I would put that against, I would rather do that than go on a world cruise with like Holland America or Princess, because you're going to spend longer time in the ports. You're going to be on those smaller ships. You're going to go to places that they're not going to go, and you're going to have everything that Azamara offers to go with it. So really, you should pull that over. And if you would like some help looking at these cruises or booking these cruises and having everything that you need to know so that you make sure that you have a wonderful time on those voyages, I would be delighted to help you. Send me an email and I am absolutely delighted to help you with that. These are amazing, and I hope that they keep doing them, because a lot of Azamara's voyages, yep, they're like everyone. They will have some longer ones, but of course they have shorter ones as well. So if you don't have quite as much time to get away, it doesn't mean that you can't go on Azamara. That's how excited I am. We were going to go on Azamara earlier this year when we went to Europe in the springtime, but they were actually all sold out already, if you can believe it. And so that's how popular they are. So if you're really interested, you should look at going. All right, so today is our sea day, and we are from Alta. Now, last night we did not do a sail away from Alta. We were supposed to leave late at night, I think at 10 p.m., but the captain came on and said that they could not get a pilot on board until 4 a.m., and so that is when we finally left, around 4 a.m. We didn't stay awake for it, and it was very, very dark there. Alta is a very small town, and so we decided that we will do a sail away with you tomorrow from the Lofoten Islands there in Norway. So hopefully you'll have a little bit better view, and if it starts looking dark and quite like it's going, as it gets dark, as darkness falls, if there are not a lot of lights there, then we'll try to come on a little bit earlier and show you what everything looks like. Okay, now today we have just had a lovely day on board. Our Let's Go family, that's the group that is on this cruise with us, we got together, some of us, and played a card game called Swoop. It was really lots of fun. So so we enjoyed that. It's just been a really lovely, relaxing day here on board. We slept in a little bit because we were trying to get caught up from being out so late, and I did keep looking for the northern lights until really quite late last night, and it stayed quite overcast and we didn't catch a view of any of them. But we've had a lovely day here on board. We're going to go to dinner. It's the second formal night, so we're excited to enjoy another nice dinner in the main dining room, and then go to some entertainment. Tonight the entertainment is in the Bayou, that dance program that they put on. Last night the entertainer was called An Evening with Celine Dion, and it was this lady who sings her songs, and she did an amazing job. She actually did a really, really good job, so it was a pleasure to go to that show. They have really done an excellent job. I know I mentioned that yesterday when I talked to you about Norwegian cutting back so much on their entertainment, but really Princess has done an excellent job on this ship, and the entertainment during the day has been excellent as well. There is always music going on somewhere. There have been lots of games, especially on sea days, lots of games, lots of trivia. There's lots of things to participate in or to enjoy watching if you like to do that. The Good Spirits bar down there on deck 5 is always open. That's the 24-hour one. It's got the glass case that's like the International Cafe in a very small way. But what an amazing ship this is. I am really very much enjoying it. And I'm going to talk to you tomorrow or the next day about the Sun Princess. I've got some things I want to tell you about that. But when I think of cruising, we're also going to talk about this. I think that the biggest difference that we are going to see as we think about the new Sun Princess and Star Princess coming out, the largest difference we're going to see is from our experience on this ship, this size of ship that Princess has, over to those great big ones, and like the Discovery Princess, the Regal Princess, the Royal Princess, all of those ships that are the largest that Princess has right now, those are just going to be somewhere in the middle, I think, between the two. But I think the largest difference overall in the overall experience will be between these two. I am sure that we will be delighted to find that some things don't change, and I'm counting on that. But I'm also really excited to see what's coming next, what the new thing is, because changing moving forward seems to be where it's at. And so I'm going to do my best to hold on to all that's good and really enjoy what's coming next.
Let me see the napkins up in the air as we welcome our chef.
Are we supposed to do this? Hey, thanks you guys. Thanks. Yeah.
For the shrinkage of your clothes, our chefs, first of all, our butcher Paolo. Let's give him a round of applause. Then our sous chef Valtteri. Sous chef Valtteri. Our chief pastry chef Menage. Our executive sous chef Niju. And of course, last but not least, our executive chef, Reggie! And And finally, let's give another big round of applause for all of our chefs.
Yes.
And of course, all the service here in Bordeaux. Thank you very much. This was your chef cook. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Yes.
So let me know what you're maybe anticipating next and what you would like to see. I really appreciate you all being here with me, and I will be talking to you all again really soon. You all take really good care. God bless you. Love you. Bye-bye.